Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Mail Day. Today I have two packages, both from Solride. Been riding their boards a lot recently. Been on a sample model, so not their final product up until today. So let's give it a look-see. Yeah, Solride's it's a local company. It's Southern California here. Got a couple riders down here in San Diego. I think they're out of Santa Barbara. But these boards are surf skates. So if you're not familiar with what a surf skate is a skateboard with a front truck that dips a little bit deeper than what you would normally receive out of a typical deck. And these boards have more of a surf, dropping into a wave feel. So this first board we're looking at, check that out. Oh, it comes with an extra riser, sweet. They might have just thrown that in for me. But check this thing out. So they've redesigned their back truck from what I recently rode. Looks like their front truck has a bearing in it. They were explaining it has a bushing in here. Now, sounds about normal. Most skateboard trucks have bushings in them. But this truck is completely unique from any other board you'll find on the market. Their truck has a bearing inside of it, one singular bushing, a wider bearing, and it can be customized to make it perform the way you're interested in, with 3 different settings. So they have a harder bearing, which is going to kind of create a stiffer ride. It's going to feel more like your traditional skateboard. There's a purple bushing, which is going to be kind of a more in-between feel. It's going to feel a lot more like a surf skate. And the green is just going to be loose as you could want. Really nice for just kind of dipping into some really deep carves. So I'm really excited to be riding these boards with the finished truck on them. The shape seems really nice. I like that a lot. They got them pretty high up on risers. So I know each one of their boards, they have different specs on. So based on which deck you choose, they'll have a different riser setup and a different bushing inside. So I know a lot of the looser boards where you want a deeper carve out of, they're going to have a looser bushing and higher risers. That kind of helps you prevent that wheel bite. I don't believe any of the boards I got today have a brake, but some of the boards have a mechanical locking system. So what that means is there's a piece inside of the truck that locks out. It pinches before you get the opportunity for the wheel to bite against the deck. And that can be really important depending on how you're trying to skate. I'm not really interested in that. I want to be able to use the board to its full potential. I want to be able to dip into the corners as deep as I can, have that carving feel. But it's nice to know that if you have the parts, or you're interested in ordering the parts, you can skate the board in a dozen different ways. So one thing that's really interesting to me is hopping on these surf skates brings me back to the ribstick days when I'd be on a caster board, because a lot of the mechanics behind it are very similar. You have a little bit more stability on a surf skate. You generate speed a pretty similar way. But these boards just feel great. Very excited to bust it out at the beach, maybe get some slides in. So it looks like between the two boards they gave me, there's some differences. So number one being the shape. These boards are pretty different in shape. This one seems more like a little pintail. Doesn't have a nose. So I mean, it has some hangover, but there's no pop in that. No concave. Light concave. Excuse me. Light concave. But no pockets in the nose, which is really interesting. These wheels seem bigger. So it's labeled 70 millimeters, 78A. So that's a really soft, wide wheel. The reason you would want something like this is, let's say you're rolling over rocks, things that aren't smooth. Because the wheel is so soft, it'll cushion rolling over those obstacles. You're less likely to just hit the pedal and get shucked. And on top of that, it's gonna feel a lot smoother. So this is a great board for cruising. I will probably be riding this one today. And then if we look over here, the wheels on this board, 66 millimeter 78A. So they're about the same softness. This wheel is a lot more narrow. So I'm going to be able to kind of toy with it a little bit more if I'm planning on doing tricks, anything like that. This board might be a little bit better suited for it. The wheels are smaller, which means it's going to go a little bit slower than a bigger wheel would. Not to say that it's going to go slow by any means. These wheels look like they're going to rip. But with me being more interested in doing tricks and that being kind of more my pull, I think this board is going to suit me a little bit better for skating in that manner. Yeah, I'm stoked. The smaller wheel is going to be a little bit lighter. I like that it has pop on the nose and the tail. They have really interesting Allen set for the hardware. You could probably use a traditional screwdriver or a specific Allen for that. But yeah, I am beyond stoked. That pivot is so deep, and no other surf skate on the market is using this mechanical system, which is really interesting. Yeah, that's wild. Well, I am so beyond stoked to be riding Solride surf skate. Let's get some content on it.